Imagine this. Tomorrow is Christmas. You want to give the person you love a beautiful gift, something real, something that shows everything you feel. But when you count all your money, every single coin, you have $1.87. That is all. So what do you do? This is the gift of the Magi, and the answer will surprise you. Stay with me. Let's find out together. Welcome to English Flow Studio. My name is David, and this podcast is made for English learners just like you. We speak slowly here. We use simple, clear words. We tell stories that are worth listening to, stories that teach you English and teach you something about life at the same time. Today's story is called The Gift of the Magi. The word Magi, M-A-G-I, comes from the Bible. The Magi were wise men who traveled a long distance to bring gifts to baby Jesus. They gave the most precious things they had. O. Henry uses this word carefully. He uses it for a very special reason, and at the end of the story, you will understand exactly why. The writer of the story is O. Henry. His real name was William Sidney Porter. He was an American writer who lived from 1862 to 1910. He's famous for writing stories with a surprise ending, a twist that you never see coming, but when it comes, it feels completely right. He wrote nearly 300 short stories in his life. The Gift of the Magi was written in 1905, and even today, more than 120 years later, people all over the world still read it and still feel it deeply. Now, are you ready? Find a comfortable position. Take a slow breath, and let's begin. It is the day before Christmas. In a small apartment in New York City, a young woman is sitting alone. Her name is Della, and she is counting money. She counts slowly, carefully, one penny, then another, then another. She counts everything she has, the coins from her small purse, the pennies she saved from buying vegetables, the small coins she kept hidden here and there over many weeks. She counts it all. And then she counts it again. $1.87. That is everything. That is all the money Della has in the world. And tomorrow is Christmas Day. Della has been saving this money for a long time. Every single day, she saved a little. She bargained carefully with the vegetable seller. She said no to small things she wanted. She put away 5 cents here, 10 cents there. She was careful and patient. But even with all of that, it is still only $1.87, and it is not enough. It is nowhere near enough. Della sits down on the old sofa and she cries, not for a long time, just for a moment. She is not a woman who cries for long. She dries her eyes. She takes a breath. She thinks. Now let me tell you about Della and about the life she lives. Della is young and she is kind. She has warm eyes and a quick smile. She loves her husband with her whole heart. His name is Jim. James Dillingham Young. But Della has always called him Jim, and she always will. Jim and Della are not rich people. They are, in fact, quite poor. They live in this small apartment that costs $8 a week to rent. The paint on the walls is faded. The furniture is simple and old. The mailbox downstairs still says James Dillingham Young, the full, proud name from a time when Jim earned more money than he does now. Because these days, Jim earns $20 a week. That is his salary. The word salary means the money you receive for your work, and $20 a week is not very much. It is enough to survive, but only just. Life for Jim and Della is simple and sometimes hard, but they are happy because they have each other. And in their small apartment, there is real warmth and real love. Now, before we go further, I want to tell you about two things, two very important things in this story. Two things that Jim and Della are each most proud of. The first thing belongs to Della. It is her hair. Della has long, beautiful hair. It is dark and rich and soft, and when she lets it down, it falls all the way below her knees, covering her like a warm coat. It shines in the light. It moves like something alive. If you saw it, you would understand immediately why it is so special. Della's hair is magnificent, and the word magnificent means something so beautiful that it almost takes your breath away. The second thing belongs to Jim. It is his gold watch. Jim's watch is old, but it is beautiful. It is made of real gold, and it has passed through 3 generations of his family, from his grandfather to his father, and then to Jim. Jim carries it with him every day, close to his heart. He is proud of it. Not because it makes him look rich, but because it connects him to the people who came before him. So Della has her magnificent hair. Jim has his gold watch. Remember these 2 things. Hold them in your mind, because everything in this story turns on these 2 things. So Della had $1.87. Say it with me now, slowly. $1.87. And Jim earned $20 a week. Say it. $20 a week. Della's hair was magnificent. Magnificent. And Jim's watch was made of gold. Made of gold. Good. Hold those words. Now let's continue. Della stands up from the sofa and walks to the window. She looks out at the gray December sky. She looks at the street below, the people walking fast in the cold, their breath making small white clouds in the air. She stands there for a moment, and she thinks, tomorrow is Christmas. She needs to give Jim a gift. Not just any gift, a real gift. Something beautiful, something that he will hold and look at and feel her love in. She has spent weeks thinking about what to get him, but every time she thinks about it, she comes back to the same problem. $1.87 is not enough. It is not close to enough. And then, standing at that window, an idea comes to her. She turns away from the window and walks quickly to the other side of the room, where a long mirror hangs on the wall. She stops in front of it. She looks at herself, and slowly she reaches up and lets her hair down. Her long, dark, magnificent hair falls around her shoulders and down her back. It falls below her knees. It shines even in the gray winter light. She looks at it for a long moment, and she makes her decision. She will sell her hair. Now, in 1905, the time of this story, a woman's long hair was something very valuable. There were shops that bought real human hair and used it to make wigs and hairpieces for wealthy women. A wig is an artificial covering of hair that someone wears on their head. And beautiful, long, real hair, like Della's, was worth good money. Della knows this. She thinks about it for only a moment, and then she stops thinking because she has already decided. She will do it. She will sell her hair and use the money to buy Jim a worthy Christmas gift. The word worthy means something that is good enough, something that deserves the person you are giving it to. She puts on her old brown coat and her old brown hat. They are worn and not beautiful, but they are all she has. And she goes out of the apartment and down the stairs and into the cold street. She walks quickly, purposefully, to a shop she has noticed before. The sign above the door reads, Madame Sofferny, hair goods of all kinds. She goes inside. A large, calm woman is sitting there, and she looks up at Della without much expression. Della says, "Will you buy my hair?" The woman stands up and walks closer. She takes Della's hair in her hands and feels it carefully, running it through her fingers, judging its quality and its length. Then she says, $20. $20. Della barely hesitates. Yes, she says, and she sits down. The scissors come out. The long, dark, beautiful hair begins to fall. Della watches in the mirror as her hair disappears. The floor around the chair is covered with long, soft curls. In a few minutes, it is done. Her long hair is gone. What is left is short and close to her head. She looks at herself in the mirror. Her face is the same, her eyes are the same, but something is different now, and she knows it. She blinks. Her eyes are a little wet, but she does not cry. She stands up, takes the $20 from Madame Sofronie, and goes back out into the cold street. She has work to do. She has a gift to find.
She did it. She actually did it. Say it with me. Della sold her hair. She walked into Madame Sofronie's shop, Madame Sofronie, and she came out with $20 and short hair and the heart full of love. Say it one more time. She did it for love. Now, she has money. She has a mission. Let's follow her. With $20 in her hand and the cold wind on her newly short hair, Della walks through the shops. She moves quickly from window to window, looking, searching, thinking. She knows what she wants. She has known for a long time, but she needs to find something worthy of Jim, something that matches who he is, something she can be proud to give. She looks at many things. She passes many windows, and then she sees it. A watch chain. It is lying in a glass case in a small shop, and even through the window, she can see that it is exactly right. It is a simple chain, not flashy, not loud, but it is made of platinum, and it has a quiet, honest beauty about it. Platinum is a rare and precious metal, even more valuable than gold. And yet, this chain is simple and clean, without any showiness, strong and elegant and real, just like Jim himself. A watch chain, as you may know, is a small chain that connects to a pocket watch. It keeps the watch safe and it gives the watch a dignified, proper look. Della has his beautiful gold watch, the one from his grandfather, but he has never had a proper chain for it. Della has thought about this many times. With this chain, Jim could carry his watch the way it deserves to be carried. She goes inside and asks the price. $21. She has $20 from her hair and the 87 cents she started with. Together, $20.87. She can buy it. Just barely, but she can. She counts the money carefully and places it on the counter. The shopkeeper wraps the chain in paper and puts it in her hand. She holds it through the paper and she can feel its weight. Platinum, solid and cool and real. And she smiles to herself as she walks back out into the cold street and turns toward home. The walk home feels different from the walk to the shops. Going to the shops, she was nervous, unsure, her heart heavy with the weight of what she was about to do. Coming home, she feels lighter. She has done something good. She has done something real. Jim will see this chain and he will know, without her saying a word, how much she loves him. But as she climbs the stairs to the apartment and opens the door and looks at herself one more time in the mirror, she feels something else too. A small, quiet nervousness. Because of her hair. Her short hair. Jim loves her hair. He has always loved her hair. What will he say when he sees it gone? She tries to arrange what is left. She curls it a little with her fingers. She does her best. When she is finished, she looks at herself for a long moment. Then she nods slowly, sits down near the door, and waits for Jim to come home. Picture it. A platinum chain lying in a glass case. Simple, clean, honest. Say it. A platinum chain. More valuable than gold. More valuable than gold. And Della is holding it now, walking home, nervous, excited, hopeful. What will Jim say when he sees her hair? Say it with me. She waited for Jim to come home. Now, the door is about to open. The door opens. Jim steps inside. He is home from work. He is young, and he is thin in the way that people are thin when they work hard and don't eat enough.
His coat is old and his shoes are worn, and he looks tired in the way that a person looks tired at the end of a long day. But there is something in his face when he comes home, something that always comes alive when he walks through that door, because Della is here. He steps inside, he closes the door behind him, he looks at Della, and he stops. He stands completely still. His eyes rest on her face, then move to her hair, her short, strange, newly cut hair, and then he just stands there, staring. His expression is impossible to read. It is not anger, it is not sadness. It is something more complicated than either of those things, and it frightens Della a little because she cannot understand it. She moves toward him quickly. The words come out fast, nervous, warm. "Jim, don't look at me that way. I sold my hair. I know it's gone, and I know you loved it, but I couldn't help it. I wanted to give you something real for Christmas, something worthy of you, and this was the only way. My hair will grow back. You know how fast it grows. Please don't be upset with me. I did it because I love you." Jim blinks. He looks at her, really looks at her, and something moves across his face. He opens his mouth, then closes it again. He looks like a man who has just realized something large and strange and a little bit wonderful and a little bit terrible at the same time. He walks toward her and puts his arms around her and holds her, and she leans into him and feels his heartbeat and breathes. After a moment, he steps back. He reaches into the pocket of his coat and takes out a small, flat package, carefully wrapped in brown paper. He holds it out to her. He says, "Open it. Open it, Della, and when you do, you'll understand the look on my face." She takes the package. She unwraps it slowly, the paper falling away in her hands, and inside, she sees combs. Beautiful tortoiseshell combs with jeweled rims. The kind she saw months ago in the window of a fine shop on Broadway and stopped to look at for a long time, knowing she could never have them. They caught the light and shone like something precious and far away. She had walked away from that window telling herself it didn't matter, that she didn't need such things. But she had never quite forgotten them. And now Jim is holding them out to her. Della looks at the combs. She looks at Jim. Her eyes fill with tears, but she is also somehow almost laughing because the combs are so beautiful and they were meant for her long hair, her beautiful long hair that is now gone. She holds them gently and presses them to her chest and says, softly, "My hair grows so fast, Jim. It grows quickly. You'll see. I'll have long hair again before you know it, and I will wear these every day. They're the most beautiful thing I've ever seen." She sets the combs aside and reaches behind her for the small package she had prepared for him. She holds it out with both hands, smiling, her eyes still bright with tears. "And now, look at yours," she says. "This is for you." Jim unwraps the paper. He sees the platinum chain lying there, shining and cool, and he sits down on the corner of the sofa, and he looks at it for a long moment. Then he smiles, a tired, quiet, deeply gentle smile, and he says, "Della, I sold my watch. I sold it to get the money to buy your combs." She sold her hair to buy a chain for a watch he no longer has. He sold his watch to buy combs for hair she no longer has. The chain has no watch. The combs have no long hair. And yet, in this small, worn apartment on a cold December night, with $21 spent and 2 treasures gone, this is the most beautiful Christmas either of them has ever known. Stop. Feel that for a moment. She sold her hair. She sold her hair to buy a chain for a watch he no longer has. He sold his watch, he sold his hair, to buy combs for hair she no longer has. Say it slowly with me. She sold her hair. He sold his watch. They gave everything. And yet, this is the most beautiful Christmas of their lives. Let's understand why. O. Henry ends his story with a few quiet lines. He says that of all the people who give and receive gifts, the 2 wisest givers of all are people like Jim and Della. He calls them the Magi, the wise ones, because they gave the most precious things they owned, not out of wealth, but out of love. Let's sit with that for a moment, because it is worth thinking about carefully. The Magi in the Bible were wise men who came from far away carrying the finest gifts in the world for a newborn child. And yet, O. Henry says that Jim and Della, two poor young people in a tiny apartment with almost nothing, are the wisest gift givers of all. Why? Because they gave not from their wealth, but from themselves. The most valuable thing Della had was her hair. The most valuable thing Jim had was his watch. And they each gave that thing, the most precious thing, without hesitation, for each other. That is the first great lesson of this story. True love gives, and it gives the best it has, without asking for anything in return. The second lesson is harder to put into words, but let me try. The combs cannot be used because Della has no long hair. The chain cannot be used because Jim has no watch. On the surface, this looks like a mistake, like two people who made a sad, wasted effort. But O. Henry is asking us to look more carefully. The value of a gift, he is saying, is not in its usefulness. It is in the sacrifice behind it. The word sacrifice means giving up something precious for someone you love. Della's sacrifice was her hair, her most beautiful feature, gone for a long time. Jim's sacrifice was his watch, his connection to his grandfather and his father, sold away. These sacrifices are the real gifts. The combs and the chain are just the physical shapes that the love took. And the third lesson is about irony, a word that means when the opposite of what you expected actually happens. Della expected that the chain would go around Jim's watch. Jim expected that the combs would go into Della's hair. Neither thing happened, and yet neither of them feels they have failed, because what they each received was not a comb or a chain, it was proof. Proof, clear and shining and undeniable, that they are deeply, completely, truly loved. One last thought about O. Henry himself. He wrote this story in 1905, finishing it in just 2 feverish hours to meet a Christmas deadline. He was, for most of his life, a poor man himself. He understood what it meant to count pennies, to want to give more than you were able to give. He put all of that understanding into Della and Jim, 2 simple, warm, completely human people, and he gave them a story that has outlived him by more than a century and still feels completely true. Before you go, carry these words with you. Say them with me one last time. Jim and Della were poor, but they were rich in love. Della sold her magnificent hair, for $20. Jim sold his gold watch, to buy her beautiful tortoiseshell combs. They each gave the most precious thing they had, and that is why O. Henry calls them the Magi, the wise ones. You just told the whole story in English. Well done. And that is The Gift of the Magi by O. Henry, a story written in 1905, in a world very different from ours. No phones, no internet, no instant messages. And yet it feels completely, immediately alive, because the feelings at the heart of it, love, sacrifice, the desire to give something real to someone you love, those feelings have never changed, and they never will. I want to leave you with one thought before you go. Della didn't have much. Jim didn't have much. But they had something that many people with far more money have never quite found. The absolute certainty that they were loved, completely, without reservation, without condition. And in the end, that is the only treasure that really matters. Before you close this episode, here's your homework. 3 simple things. First, listen again tomorrow. The second time you listen to a story, you will understand things you missed the first time. Your brain is still working on the language even when you sleep. Second, write 3 sentences about the story in your own words. Simple sentences, like the ones we practiced. It doesn't need to be perfect, just write. Third, think of one person in your life who you would give something precious to. You don't have to actually give it, just think about it. That is the beginning of wisdom. Let's quickly review the important words from today's story. Salary, the money you earn from your work. Magnificent, so beautiful it almost takes your breath away. Worthy, good enough for the person you are giving something to. Sacrifice, giving up something precious for someone you love. Irony, when the opposite of what you expected happens. Platinum, a rare and precious metal, even more valuable than gold. Magi, wise men who give the finest gifts. Say them with me one time, slowly and clearly. Salary, magnificent, worthy. Sacrifice, irony. Platinum, Magi. I am David. This is Simple English Stories. If today's episode helped you, share it with one person who is learning English. That is your gift to them. And O. Henry, I think, would approve. Come back tomorrow. There will be another story, another journey, another step forward. And remember, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to keep going. Every day, a little more. Just like Della, saving 1 penny at a time. Goodbye for now. Keep listening, keep learning, and always give with love.